Hello and welcome to Funfold Friday. My name is Doreen DeCebus and I am from It Begins with Ink and Paper. And I thank you so much for joining me either tonight live on Facebook. I know it's Memorial Day weekend and it may not be a good night to be joining me, but if you're joining me live, thank you. If you're joining me on the replay, thank you. And if you're joining me on my YouTube channel, thank you. So tonight I have a really fun fold to share with you. You can see the view of it looking down. This is called a flared stepper card. So you can see the flare on both sides of the card. So I want to point that out to you. I am using the Gone Fishing suite. So let me turn this over so you can see. I'm using mainly pecan pie cardstock. I just got to get that name right. And I'm using the designer series paper that's giving us a little pop of color. Otherwise, everything's going to be pecan pie tonight, which is one of our new core colors that's part of the neutral family. So let's see, I didn't leave out a catalog, so I can't show you. Oh, wait, maybe I did. Let me show you where you can find this suite in the catalog. So, as I said, it's called Gone Fishing. It's on page 79 in the catalog. This was a set I hadn't really planned on buying, so here's the suite on pages 78 and 79. It has some really great designer series paper. The suite comes with the Gone Fishing bundle, the Let's Go Fishing designer series paper, and the Twisted Rope 3D embossing folder. So some fun items. The colors that go with the designer series paper are Wild Wheat, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Boho Blue, and Pebbled Path, and Very Vanilla. And I decided to use it just looks so great with the pecan pie that was the color I decided to use tonight. So I'll show you how to make this card. It's not as hard as it looks. And there's a little hidden message in this card. So let me show you that before we get started. So if we're taking a look at the front of the card and I reach in, you can see me pull out that hidden message. So there's actually a smaller card that can go into the fold on the side of the card. So in that step, it's easy to fit this card in. And so on the front, I have good things come to those who wait. The inside message says happy retirement. And then the inside of that card says congrats. So a really fun way to put in that little hidden message. So I'll put that back. If I take a look at the back of the card, it gives you a place to write your message. So if this retirement card was for a coworker, you could, between the back and the hidden message card, you could get a lot of people to write a fond farewell to that person. Okay, let's go over what we need for supplies. So as always, these supplies will be posted in the comments and they will be posted under the YouTube description for the video. So don't feel you have to take a screenshot or zoom in on my handout. This is just for my reference, but I will post them. They were also posted in the reminder about the Funfold Friday tonight. So as I said, we're using pecan pie cardstock. You need a scrap for some die cutting. It's a very small die cut. That's just a piece that was left over from trimming the cardstock. You need a piece that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This piece is going to be scored, and I will go over those score marks in just a minute when we score it. You need a piece that's 4 inches by 10.5 inches. Then I used Very Vanilla cardstock. You also need a scrap of that to do some stamping on. You need 2 smaller pieces for the labels. One of those will be 2 by 1.5, and the other one will be, this one, 2 by 1.5, and this one is 1.5 by 2.25. So those are for the different labels. You're going to need 2 pieces that measure 5/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 of an inch. You're going to need 2 pieces. This is for the front and the back of the card that measure 3 7/8 by 4 3/8. You're going to need a piece that measures 3 3/4 and by 9.5. This is the piece that is our inside hidden message card. And you're going to need some designer series paper. As I said, this is from the Let's Go Fishing. You're going to need 2 pieces that are going to mount on the smaller pieces of Very Vanilla. These are 1/2 by 4 inches. I'm using 2 different designs. The other from this same design, I need a piece that is 3 5/8 by 1 3/8 and 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. And so these are also what you'll be using. And then finally, I'm using the colorful side of the paper with all of the little fishing hooks and lures, I think. The paper that I just showed you comes from the back side of this. So I'm using one design, but I'm using both sides of it. One of these needs to be measured 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, this one. And the other one is 3 5/8 by 4 5/8. So we'll need that to decorate the inside of the card. So let's start with doing some scoring. Just a reminder, please don't hesitate to, as you're watching, to say a hello, and so I can do a shout out later to you and welcome you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow my Facebook page. So thank you for helping support my business, my very small business, but it's a fun business. So I'm going to take my Very Vanilla cardstock that measures, again, 3 3/4 by 9.5, and I'm going to score this at 4 3/4. So 4 3/4, it's going to be scored there. Let me just put that aside. Then I'm going to take my larger piece of pecan pie, and this piece again is 4 inches by 10.5, and I'm going to score this at 5 1/4. All right. Then I'm going to take my piece that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is the piece that's going to get all the scoring. It is going to get scored at 3/4 of an inch. It is going to get scored at 1 1/2 inches. It's going to get scored at 2 3/4 inches. It's going to then be scored again at 4 inches, and then finally at 4 3/4 inches. All right, our scoring is all done. Okay, so I'm going to start with, let me just get a bone folder. I'm going to start with folding this in half. Like any fun fold, you really want to get a nice crease. So using a bone folder really helps with that. So I've done, I guess, what I could call a valley fold. And then what I'm going to do with this is just do an accordion fold. So I'm going to fold up with the next one and fold so it ends up being, I guess I could call it, holding it this way, it's a mountain, it's a valley, and it's a mountain fold. And I am going to burnish those edges for both of these because, as I said, when we're doing a front fold, you really want to have a nice fold. Oh, it looks like the sun is setting and I am getting some light on the screen. I'm sorry about that. The window's across the room and the shade is up, or the blinds are up. Sorry about that. So I now have this piece, and this is how it's going to stand right now until I put it all together. So I'm going to start just putting some of the paper that goes on here. The reason being is it's going to help me know where I'm going to need to add the adhesive pieces. So I'm going to start with the very front edge, and I'm just going to put a little bit of my Stampin' Seal on the Designer Series paper, and I'm going to layer that onto the very vanilla paper, and then this will go on the front piece. So I'm just going to center this on this piece. There we go. Turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So this is going to go on the other piece of the Very Vanilla cardstock. And on the other side of the stepper. All right, let's set that aside for a minute. I'm going to take my piece of pecan pie, which I guess we could call it our card base, and I'm going to take my pieces of Very Vanilla and the Designer Series paper, and they are going to go, that is for the, they're going to be going on both sides of this. So I am going to put my Stampin' Seal on my piece. I'm going to layer this on the vanilla. And then I am going to take my wider piece of the backside with the plaid, and this is going to go right across the center of the card, as I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. So again, I'm going to add my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to put this right across the middle. This is a great card for someone who likes fishing. As I said, I wasn't really going to get this stamp set until I started to think about the number of people in my family who love to fish. And then I realized how much use I would get out of it. And I knew I wanted to do something with it. So this is the first card I've actually made with it. One of the really cool things, I didn't show you the stamp set, and I'll pull that out in a minute, is the dies inside. Not only are they, fabulous to be able to stamp out the different images, but they also can, let me show it to you while I'm thinking about it. Put this aside for a second. So this is the set. It's a photopolymer stamp set. And I showed this really quickly to you at the beginning, has some great images, some really nice, as I said, this is a really nice masculine stamp set. It has some great Father's Day greetings. Good things come to those who wait. So glad that you're my dad. Happy Father's Day, happy retirement, and congrats. And then all this fishing stuff and some fish as well. But when you get inside to the dies, you have this outline that has a nice edge around it with the corners that are rounded, and then you have this tackle box piece. And so you can actually make the front of your card or the inside of your card be a tackle box, which I think is pretty cool. I'm going to try that. All right, so I've got the back of my card and I've got the front of it. I'm going to need these spots right here to do, to add my adhesive. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right across the bottom. This is going to be sitting, I'm going to center it right on my stepper. I'm going to make sure I don't go way down into the crease, right just above the crease. And there's the front of my card. And then I'm going to put another bit of adhesive on this side and do the same thing. Place the card just above the score line. And I think I went just, it's not even, so let me just, if you pick it up right away, you can fix anything that's not quite even. There we go. So now I have my stepper part of my card. Isn't that adorable how it just comes together like that? You can see what it looks like on the inside. A little bit of shadow there, I apologize. Okay, so now I can do some stamping. And then we'll make the other card in just a minute. So I have my pecan pie ink here. And I'm going to, on the larger piece of vanilla paper, I'm stamping "The good things come to those who wait." And I always try to line up my stamp with my grid paper. Make sure it's going on nice and even. There we go. And then I am going to be putting on this one, going in the opposite direction, I'm going to be stamping the "Happy Retirement." There we go. Now, I decided to kind of do just a monochromatic pecan pie card with the bits of color just coming from all of this stuff on all the lures and the hooks on the designer series paper. So I am going to stamp these two images on my scrap paper, and I am going to die cut these two images. I'm not going to die cut it for you live. I've already die cut them, but again, I just want to show you the easiest way to line to get this ready for your die cut machine. One of my favorite tools that I use is the Post-it tape. So it's just like a Post-it note, but taped. So I'm using this really small, I'm just going to tear off a piece of this brown or cut it off. So I'm just going to put this little die that we're going to be using and make sure it's right here on my scrap of paper attached there. So that's ready to go through the die cut machine. And then I'm just going to line up my die, make sure everything is lined up, because it is easy to move this as you're trying to do your die cutting. And then I'm going to put a piece of the Post-it note tape on. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one you have to make sure this little piece here, you can see the brown ink and all of this. So once you have that on where it needs to be, of course I just had it as perfect can be. There we go. And I'll put my Post-it note tape on that. Whoops, it moved. Knew that would happen. I'm not surprised. I'm sorry if my head is in the way. There we go. So now both of those were ready for the die cut machine. And what you're going to see, and I cut out multiple of them, you're going to see everything cuts out, die cuts beautifully. And this image right here has a little bit of embossing on it as well. Okay, let's get this card together now. So let's start with this piece. So we're going to create our hidden message card. So I'm going to start by adding my piece of designer series paper, and that's going to go on the front. Oh, a little crooked. Don't you hate that when it happens? The good thing is that when you put it on a little too quickly, like I just did, and it's a little crooked, as long as you haven't waited a long time, you can, even this Stampin' Seal, which is really, really strong, you can get the paper off of the front of it. So don't worry, just don't wait, 5 minutes or something. You want to get it off as soon as you notice it. Okay, there we go, much better. I'm going to add this middle piece just like we did on the front of the card so that the two cards coordinate nicely. And I am going to put the happy retirement is going to go right in the center. And I am going to, I think I even did it with dimensionals. Yeah, I did. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. I'm very excited to have a long weekend. I'm also very humbled that it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm a teacher and I teach middle school science, and it is definitely, we're coming up to the final stretch. We have 3 weeks left of school after this week, and it is going to go by quickly. All right, so the inside card I'm going to use, these are the Neutrals Adhesive Back Sequins. I'm going to use the brown ones. Let me just get my take your pick tool. And I am just going to decorate the inside of the card. I'm going to put 2 of the smaller sequins right here at the top. And then I'm going to take a larger one and put right here in the corner. Kind of make a triangle. That's what I usually try to do. Okay. Our first card only needs now our greeting on the inside with congrats. What I'm really most looking forward to this weekend is the weather. It is just supposed to be beautiful. So it'll be great for all of those outdoor activities that you might have planned. So here's our inside secret message. I'm just going to slide it right into the inside onto that first step, and it is hidden from view. All right, let's finish the front side of the card. So I'm going to use dimensionals on this as well. I saw, if you have arthritis, which I have a little bit in my hands, I saw another demonstrator removing her backings off of her dimensionals with her take a pick tool. Oh, it does work really nice. Comes off really easily and they're all in one place. All right, so I am going to put this right here, just going a little bit over the Designer Series band in the middle. And then I'm going to make the exact same thing with two of these. So I'm going to take my hook and I am going to use a glue dot, and I am going to start with the fish, or I guess this is a lure that looks like a fish. And I'm just going to put this so let me just go up a little higher. There we go. Like this, and then I'm going to add the other lure with a glue dot as well. There we go. And I'm just going to use 2 dimensionals, and I'm going to start by putting this one on the back. That's a cool technique. So this is going to go on the back of the card just as another little embellishment. So I'm just going to have it like that on the back. And then on the front, I am going to make another one and do the same thing. It's going to look exactly the same. I'm not changing it up in any way. And this is going to be on the front of the card. And I'm going to attach it also with a glue dot. Isn't this a fun card? Okay, so 2 glue dots here. One towards the top, one towards the bottom. And that is going to go right here on the front. And I'm just going to hang it straight, the fish going straight down. Oh, isn't that adorable? Okay, so then the last thing I'm going to do is add some bling to this with the sequins. Again, I'm using the brown ones. So let's see. I think I'm going to put these on the Designer Series paper. So again, I'm going to put, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to put the larger one up here and the smaller ones on the bottom, close together, forming another triangle. And we are done. So let's move this out of the way. So this is a side, the top version of the card with the hidden message coming out to kind of give you a little bit of a look. And then this is the card folded up with the hidden message coming out, or the hidden card coming out. This does fold up and it fits in a regular envelope. It will probably need a little bit of extra postage because it is rather thick with the stepper part of the card and having a second card inside the card. So I hope you have enjoyed this week's version of Fun Fold Friday and have enjoyed this card. I hope that you have a weekend full of fun, sunshine, laughter, and a lot of love. And I will be back next Friday for another edition of Fun Fold Friday. Again, just as a reminder, please like my page, subscribe to my channel, and if you are looking for a demonstrator, please consider using me. That's it for tonight. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.